right now we want to hear from some small business owners. And so we welcome Daniel Reed, Dr. Pamela DeSouza David, and Mark Brown. Welcome to Visitor News Live. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so Daniel, let's start with you. You are the owner of Nova Homeworks. It's a flooring installation company in Virginia. How has social distancing impacted your business?
Well, currently has affected us quite considerably because we have like three different teams. We have our installation team, our office team, and our sales team. And if one group is not working, all three groups get affected. And our biggest group that's getting affected right now is our sales group. Our sales group can't go, into people's homes. They're not able to go into offices. And so that has slowed down our work. I've had to lay off, the office staff or, and bring them only as needed. So that has created quite a bit of trouble time for us. Things are still, we do have some work going, but not as much as we had hoped, So we were really booked for the next 2.5 months, and then all of a sudden just cancellation, postponements, and so forth. It just had to put us back. It was just like riding a horse, and the horse just stopped all of a sudden. It just threw you off the back. So,
wow. I mean, that is just really hard because it's not just impacting you, and it's not just a company. There are people. There are people behind there that are looking to you. So, what's been the hardest part of this for you?
I believe the hardest part for me has been, as a Christian and as an Adventist, I've always reached out to my people spiritually. I've never really had to worry about giving them work, I should say. Sometimes you get a little slow, but they always are assured that they'll get their paycheck, that they have everything that they need. But nowadays, sometimes I feel like I have a bunch of kids around me with their bowls waiting to be filled with food. And so before, when I felt like I had to give them spiritual things, now I'm going backwards. I feel like now I have to make sure that they have money first, then deal with them emotionally, and then spiritually. I know that the Lord will reward. It sounds backwards, but I was thinking about Jesus' story. Jesus, when he was here on earth, he met their physical needs first, and then he bade them follow me. So that is the way. I think for me has been very difficult just because I'm always like a mission minded. How can I reach out to them? How can I pray for them? And I still do that. But in the back of my mind is like, I have to meet their physical needs first, so
that's right.
That has been very tough for me.
It is tough. And I thank you for being willing to share that. One of the reasons that we wanted to ask you all to come tonight and share was because, we're all watching the news. We're all concerned about the people who are sick and who are dying, but there are different aspects of this, and it's impacting members in different ways. And those of you who have businesses and ministries, you're going through this in a different way as well. And we need to bring that story and share that story. So Daniel, I thank you for being willing to be vulnerable and share, what it's really like for you. Let's talk with Dr. Pamela. Dr. Pamela DeSouza David, thank you for being here. So you have a advanced glaucoma eye care. So you're an ophthalmologist.
Correct.
Okay, so when you work with patients, you work very closely with them.
Yes.
How has social distancing changed, your operations and your ability to serve your patients?
Well, operations have come to a grinding halt. We've pretty much shut down our operations except for emergencies. So all routine patients, procedures, surgeries have been postponed, and we're just seeing emergencies. That's the guidelines per the Academy of Ophthalmology. Of course, I think it's obviously the right thing to do. Also, I'm a glaucoma specialist, so I see, a very vulnerable side of the population. It's all elderly. A vast majority are elderly patients, which, would never want to bring them in to expose them to, the possibility of infection. So, yeah, we're just seeing emergencies for now.
Now, you just opened your doors less than a year ago. And, oftentimes when new businesses start, the probability that they would be able to make it, they got to make it through their first year. And we're not even there yet. So, how has this crisis impacted the possibility of you staying afloat? What are you thinking about that?
I mean, it's definitely concerning. In one way, it's good because I kind of kept operations small because I was just starting out. So overhead is not super high, but, you're trying to build momentum, trying to break even, trying to, slowly get over that line where you're a little more in the comfort zone. So it's definitely, been concerning. But the way I see it, just even starting the practice was what I call, divinely orchestrated. Just all the things and factors that had to come together to open my doors were, God sent. So right now I know that God will provide, and I'm just trusting that somewhere from somewhere there will be funds, So, and already, even though I have not seen patients this month, there has been some, income coming in. So I just have to be patient and trust God that He will provide.
That's right. That's right. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to bring Mark in here. Mark, how has Rona, some people call coronavirus, Rona, impacted your granola business? I know I haven't gotten any granola this month, so, but how's it going?
Yeah, it's been very interesting.
And I guess, you know what, I should have
I
mentioned
do.
why I said granola, Mark, because I didn't share. You're the owner of a small business called Three Brown Boys Granola, and named after your three grandsons. And you make just a most amazing, delicious granola that we all enjoy, right, Daniel? And so that's why I asked you about your granola business. So please go ahead.
Yeah, the timing of this pandemic, it almost seems to be ordered by God for me. Just to give you a little background, in the last 4 or 5 months, I should say about 6 months ago, I was impressed to improve my recipe. So for the last 4 or 5 months, I've been meeting with nutritionists and food scientists and looking at how I can improve the granola recipe. And at the same time, my lease at the commercial kitchen that I operate at was ending at the end of March. So in April, I was supposed to start a new lease and also to begin the process of working with the kitchen owner to start retrofitting some of the kitchens so that I could have a vegan space and a non-vegan space for the granola. The other improvements were going to be also to have it vitamin enriched, and the food scientists helped me a great deal. So all of this came to a head just as coronavirus hit. So what it has done, it spared me the expense of having to pay for a kitchen during the month of April. It also afforded me the time to focus on refining the recipe. And even though I'm not servicing any of my customers right now, some other opportunities for wholesale have been presented during this time. So this has been a true moment that it's almost seemed like God carved out a slice of time for me to focus in on the next phase of the business. So it has been once again one of those moments when you are just amazed at how God sets things up. So it's been a time of recreation for me.
Yeah, and I kind of call I'm hearing an echo in somebody's computer right now, but um, I kind of called it almost like it's a global timeout. Um, you know, and thank you for sharing that, because even though many of us are facing difficulty, we can always find some good. And so I want to ask, Pamela and Daniel, in your lives, have you seen anything good out of this, even though it's difficult?
Well, for me personally, it's just time, like you said, it's a timeout. We get time to be at home, spend with our families, be in nature. We've been taking lots of walks as a family. So, it's time that, like my husband says, we'll never have again, really, where we are not working, we're at home, we're forced to be home, and, we're all together. So I do treasure that time and the moments we have together.
Yes.
And for me, I would say it's the same thing. I think family has been actually, I'm a person that's constantly on the go, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m., 9 p.m. And it's like, don't take the time, yeah, we eat dinner together, spend a little time together, have worship, but then get back to work, get things ready for the next day. And now it's almost like you pushed to prioritize family, and then work comes second because you don't have much to do with work, And but I think one of the biggest blessings for me right now has been that I've been able to get involved with a different portion of the church. And I started a program called Zoom to Sabbath School for the kids. Okay. And because I noticed that they had Sabbath school for adults and they had church service, but they didn't have anything for the kids for the Sabbath school. Mm-hmm. So now we're having, so now I'm in charge of helping, getting the Sabbath school together. And we've had up to 60 kids join in for Sabbath school. And then we have special guests and we have singing and so forth. And I'm actually starting to like that. So I think that was definitely a good thing that came out of this situation.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for that and giving more time. So I know that, Mark, there is something else good that you are planning that you hope will come out of all of this. Our ASI Columbia Union chapter is planning to have a meetup for small businesses and nonprofit ministry leaders. Tell us about that and why people should participate.
Yeah, in our conversations as an executive board, we just realized that ASI is made up of marketplace and ministerial entrepreneurs. And entrepreneurship is challenging, can be lonely, and that there's great reward in creating an environment for those who are in these places to come together and encourage and strengthen one another. So as you see the graphic there on Monday, April 27th, from 8 to 9 p.m., we're going to have a Zoom meeting inviting business owners and leaders of nonprofit ministries to come together just so that we can socialize, encourage, pray for one another, share how God has blessed, and also share some prayer requests so that we can just uplift one another during these times and benefit from our collective gathering together. I think it will be a great event for all to be a part of.
Good. And I think on our Facebook page, definitely on our website, we have a story and we have a link so that people can register and participate. If you own a small business or a nonprofit, like Daniel, Pamela, Mark, and others, come together. Isolation is kind of, that's the unhealthy part of this, is all the isolation. Come together and be with other people who understand what's going on and what you're going through.